So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to deal with stress. Basically, the majority of you had answered to the poll question I had presented on Monday. So this is something I'm going to do every week, suggesting different topics and giving you a chance to basically choose which one you'd like me to elaborate on a little bit more. So how to deal with stress is obviously it's part of life, and of course we might be faced with many challenges, some of us much more serious than other people, and it can be extremely overwhelming and provoke emotions that are very strong and difficult to deal with, whether we are adults or children. And of course the impact can be emotional, physical, behavioral, because that's the way that we're going to be responding and reacting. Some of the effects of the stress might linger for much longer than we would like it to be, but then knowing how to cope is really essential. I mean, a few of the symptoms that we might be experiencing that will be an indication of that stress will be things like, for example, feeling like a sense of disbelief as to what might have occurred. We might experience a feeling of shock or anger or sadness, frustration, confusion, perhaps even numbness. Also, like a loss of what's happening to us. We might also have a change in our appetite, a loss in the appetite. We might begin to display behaviors like turning towards alcohol, or for example, if we might have never smoked before, we might find ourselves smoking suddenly, or it could be doing other behaviors that are destructive. And there's other things that we might also find ourselves doing is, for example, we might be experiencing a form of, if we're experiencing chronic pain or if we're having kind of health issues, then what's going to happen is that we might even feel an exacerbation of these symptoms, whether it's like a neuropathic pain or whether it's like maybe if we're anxious or if we're having a vulnerability to depression, then we might experience these symptoms actually even more. So again, the good news here is that there are different ways of coping. Here are a basic few that I'm going to give you, and of course we're all different, and it's very easy to say, you know what, take care of yourself. We've heard this so many times, but maybe we don't know what that means. We don't know how to take care of ourselves. So here are a few tips. One of them, for example, is just to learn how to allow yourself to take a step back. You know, it's not easy to be a human, and at least it's something that we're all challenged with through our experiences. So learning how to take a step back is a useful thing. It might be that step back might be, for example, staying at home for a while, or taking you into a more peaceful environment. It could be somewhere in nature, maybe somewhere where you can go perhaps to a park if that you have access to something like that, or it could be to a beach. I mean, there's always a way to actually connect somehow to nature, to take that break. Another thing you can also do is, for example, remove yourself from social media, or at least what you are watching. Be more selective with what you are watching on social media. Maybe avoid watching the news, or keeping it to a limit. It might be, stop watching TV, for example, or what you watch on TV. It could also be who you are spending your time with. You know, maybe the people that we are spending our time with might actually be, in that precise moment, very triggering or very toxic to us. So we can be careful with that, and be a little bit more careful with these things. Another thing that we can do is maybe perhaps like sleep a little bit earlier, have more of a schedule in terms of our sleep pattern. Now, this can be easier said than done, because obviously some people will find it more difficult to sleep, especially if we're struggling with insomnia or having some sleep disturbances. So again, this might be like an effect of what we're actually going through, and that's also very, very understandable. So creating a safe environment is a key thing. Perhaps learning how to taking a warm shower, or if you have a bathtub, maybe having a bath. Maybe these are things that you can actually perhaps think about doing. What else can you do? There's many other activities. You can just decide to take up art class, maybe dance lessons, or just dancing in your own home or in your own house. Music is a great way of helping to release the toxins caused by stress in our body, and of course initiating yourself, discovering what meditation is, yoga is. In fact, this coming Friday I'm going to be doing a meditation exercise that's going to last about 20 minutes. I'll be sharing a little bit more about that in by tomorrow or so. So you'll be welcome to join. Meditation is a powerful way of really centering and connecting with ourselves through breath work exercises. So all of these are really wonderful ways of kind of helping to calm our stress levels down. And it has to become more of a lifestyle, more as opposed to something that you're just doing only one time and that's it. So it's more of a continuous basis. Now, of course, if this is something you're really still struggling with, you know that the important thing is to reach out to get the support. There's so many ways of getting that support nowadays. It can be online, it can be in person. A lot of people, of course, they prefer the human contact. It's natural and it's normal, but that we don't necessarily have to wait until we actually find somebody to see in person. We can actually also see them online, and that's really important. If some of the symptoms are really, really strong and very overwhelming, just reach out to someone out there with whom you feel comfortable with. So a few more tips as well. I'd like to give you a few more with respects to children. So if you happen to be a parent and your child is actually going through something stressful, you can also use the same kind of approaches that have been shared already with you today, and encourage them to go into meditation. Perhaps listen to them, talk about things, talk about what they're feeling. Perhaps you can also relate in a way as to maybe share about what you've been experiencing. So it's not a taboo subject, and in fact you're encouraging them to communicate and find and use different forms and different ways of dealing in a more healthy way with stress. So wherever you are, I hope this is helpful, and take care.